Evening and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Well, evening if it's where you are, morning if it's in the morning when you're watching this. Have a lovely lunch if you're watching this on your lunch break. Anyway, I'm back again with another deck tech from the Brothers War. Again, I'm recording this before the set's gone live on MTGO, so we're going to have to use Goldfish again and we're going to go through the cards as normal. This one is a bit more of a tribal deck, but it is an intriguing one because I think it's the best commander we've had for this tribe for a very long time. So, without me talking for too much longer, here's Myrel, Shield of Argive, for 3 and a white, for a 3/4, legendary creature, human soldier. And it says, during your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Nice. And whenever Myrel, Shield of Argive attacks, create X 1/1 colourless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. So, as you can imagine, this is going to be a really solid, full-on soldier deck. There's no point in playing it any other way. You want to be attacking. You want to be getting in with the soldier tokens. So therefore, that's what we're going to do. And this is what the deck list looks like. So obviously, Myrel is the Shield of Argive as our commander for this. So what I tried to do is get as many soldiers in as I could and then some things to back it up with. Some of the things you may not agree with, some of the things I hope you will agree with. But as you can see, currently, as I do this deck on the 7th of November, because you can see the deck date there, on the tabletop it's about $300. MTGO, about 26 tickets. But it's, obviously we don't know what Myrel's going to come in at yet. Pre-release price at the moment about $20 for Myrel, so I'm guessing it's going to be about 5 or 6 tickets on MTGO. It just depends on how many people get. And don't forget, it is a mythic, so it's going to be a little bit harder to come by. So, the deck itself. I basically went through my collection and I went through some other things on MTGO to try and find as many soldier type creatures as I could, and I've included them. So, with the 1-drops, we've got Elite Vanguard, Hazardar Marshal, we've got Leonin Vanguard, and then we've got one of the new cards as well. There's no price. Recruitment Officer. This is a new one that's coming in Brothers War. It's a 1 mana for a 2/1. That's pretty respectable for a soldier. And it's got a nice ability that says 3 and a white. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with a mana value 3 or less from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Now, most of the good soldiers, believe it or not, are under 3. There's some higher stuff casting cost value in the deck. I'm aware of that. But most of them are pretty good at 3, So you pay 4 mana. You can get Vanguard, Marshal, Recruiter, Sky March Aspirants in. Yes, it's a vampire, but it's also a soldier. And it's got a nice little ability to go flying. We've got Fencing 8s. What we want to find is Thalia's Lieutenant, which would be lovely off that ability. Or Thalia, Garden of Thraben, so we can make spells cost a little bit more that aren't creatures. Or Tithe Taker. During your turn, spells your opponents control cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponents activate cost 1 more. Gives you a little bit of backup for when you haven't got Myrel in play, basically. So hence why I've included Tithe Taker. Bit of an unusual choice. Don't see it much in Commander, but it might work. Veteran Armor Smith is in. Other soldier creatures you control get a bonus, a plus to their toughness, which is nice. Area Responder for that vigilance and life linking. Archetype of Courage, because it gives all our creatures first strike. And I figured soldiers, they're going to be stabbing people with swords, so they're going to be getting in there first with a bit of luck. Brimaz is in, because when it attacks, it creates cat soldier tokens. That's fine by me. Got no problem with that. And it also gets them when it blocks, which is nice. Drogskull Shieldmate's in just for a little bit of flash. And other creatures you control get +1 until the end of turn. So it does save some of your creatures some of the time. Faithbound Judge. I'm not 100% convinced by this one, I'll be perfectly honest. But it was nice having a nice little way of getting enchantment into play on a player if we needed to. And at the end of the day, it's a 4/4 for 3 that's got flying and vigilance and defender, which I can't really complain about. Once we get the judgment counters on, it can start attacking as well. So, eventually it becomes an attacking creature and a bit of a threat. Field Marshal pumps all our soldiers and gives them first strike, which is nice. Mentor of the Meek lets us draw cards, as you know. Militia Bugler even, let's get the terminology right. Enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards, reveal a creature card with power of 2 or less from among them, put it in your hand. Hello. There's some more yet. Where are we going next? Traveller of the Steel Legion is a 1/4. You can pump 4 into it to make some soldier tokens, which is quite nice. It's also a legendary creature, so that does kind of help. Preeminent Captain, whenever it attacks, put soldier card tapped into your hand and attack from your hand into a player tapped and attacking. Brilliant. Ritual Guardian, just so we get a bit more lifelinks. We do have lots of different powers and toughnesses in the deck. Saviour of Ollenbock is something I completely forgot existed, I'll be honest. But when it trains, exile up to one other target creature from the battlefield or creature card from a graveyard. And you can basically return them to battlefield when this dies. Now, considering probably a lot of our creatures will be dying, this is a nice little bit of way of reanimating some of our own stuff. Veteran Small Swordsmiths, the other half of our Veteran Armorsmith, because it pumps all the soldiers up with their power. Ajani's Chosen comes in. Again, this is not the right card at all. This should not be in the deck. Ignore this card. We do have some enchantments, as you can see. Not enough, though, but I put it in because it's a soldier. I can't remember what I should have put in this place. I've forgotten. I don't think it was meant to be this. I think I've clicked the wrong card, to be honest, but hey, I might do an update in the video description and let you know. Baird, Steward of Argive, you know, we're going to have one Argive, might as well have the other one, and this gives us a little bit of protection, stops creatures attacking unless they pay 1. Benelish Commander suspends. Suspend Benelish Commander. You do not want to be paying 4 mana for it. You want to be suspending it for as much as you can, so you get those social tokens every time on your upkeep for a little while the time counters come off it. Semi-Pitry Protector comes in as well. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, it shares a card type with the exiled creature. Exiled card. Create a 1/1 human creature token. Yeah, okay then. So I'll exile one of my creatures that's died, and every time I cast a creature, I get another human. That's fine. It's not a soldier, but hey, it's a token. Gold Knight Commander. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, everything gets +1/+1. Nice. Hero Blade holds in because we want more soldiers. Leonin War Leader is in as well. It attacks. You get to get some 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink that are tapped and attacking. It's still a soldier. They don't create soldiers tokens, but you can't have everything, can you? Mangara's in. It's one of the few creatures in the deck that isn't a soldier. It is a human, and I put it in because we need some way to draw cards. Now, there's a couple of spells in the new set that let you draw cards. I'm not convinced by them in white yet. I need to play with them, which is why they're not included here. But at the end of the day, you're playing Commander. People are going to be casting 2 spells a turn. They're going to be attacking you with more than 2 creatures 9 times out of 10. So you're going to draw some extra cards. Ranger of Eos is purely here to go and get some of our 1-drops out of the way. If we get the Ranger in, we probably are going to be looking for the Recruitment Officer, and we're probably going to be looking for the Marshal as well if we haven't already played them. So bear that in mind. Again, it's still a soldier though. Pike Master's in, gives another way of giving all our creatures first strike, which I decided is a really good idea. I've included Trin. Obviously I can't include the partner because it's the wrong colours for the deck, but this is quite nice. If you attacked this turn, create a 1/1 human soldier's creature token. Thank you very much. Archangel of Thune is another one that's not soldier, but get some life, pump our soldiers up, seem good. Castle Pulp Master is an old card. This is, I don't know what MTGO, what Goldfish has picked up here, but anyway. Tap 5 untapped soldiers you control, exile target creature. Yeah, instant removal as long as they've got protection from white. Thank you very much, off you go. Elite Scale Guard bolsters things. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, tap a target creature defending player controls. That helps you punch through. Hixus is in just to do some nice detaining if we can, or exiling as it is now, until it leaves the battlefield. So it's a nice little bit of removal. Reverent Hoplite, thank you very much. We're going to have a lot of devotion to white. Let's do this and get all those nice soldier tokens when we cast this. Likewise, Captain of the Watch is in. Other soldiers you control get +1/+1, have vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 1/1 white soldier tokens. So 6 mana gives you 6 power. Not quite as good as some of the Titans, but pretty near for this sort of deck. Darian's also in. It's another non-soldier, but it does create soldier tokens, hence why I included it. We're going to get in with the damage. If we were dealt damage, we get to have all those nice soldier tokens. And there is reasons why I want all these soldier tokens, which is coming in a second. Sanctuary Warden is also a soldier. It's a little bit different, but, you know, if you're that desperate, when it attacks, when it's a battlefield, you can take a counter off it. You can take a counter off something else that's got a counter on it and get yourself a 1/1 citizen and draw a card. But still, it's a soldier. It's 5/5 and it's a flyer. Hence why it's in. Sun Titan, as I said, a lot of the creatures, this obviously isn't a soldier. It looks like a soldier, so I decided to include it. But if you look at all the things that cost 3 or less, from Veteran Swordsmith all the way down to here, There's a lot of creatures we can bring back with our Sun Titan if we need to. Likewise, we can bring back Basri Ket if we needed to as well. Chucking those +1/+1 counters around really helps. Giving something indestructible could help. And if we do the -2, whenever one or more non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. Swarm the board, basically, everybody. Swarm the board. I've included another version of Basri in, mainly because whenever a creature attacks this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's what it's here for. Again, it's not one you see often, but if you can get it up to 6 and give it everything +2/+2 and fly to the end turn, chances are you're going to win. But the -1 on this is really good from my point of view. Removal, Path to Exile, just to deal with the most annoying thing you see early. Day of Judgment, Doomskull, or Stair Command. You've seen them all before for me. The usual selection of ramp is in. Tantalite, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Marble Diamond. It stopped there. I couldn't see the point in going completely down the road, including all my usual artifact mana ramp spells. So I just went with these four, and I figure it's enough with this deck. We are playing quite a few lands, as you'll see in a minute. But I've included a few extra bits in here. Halo Fountain gives us a way to win. It also creates something that isn't a soldier token. I'm aware that creates a citizen. But at the end of the day, untapping a couple of our creatures we've attacked with draw cards, not bad. And the chances are we probably will get to 15 creatures with this deck. And if we get them all untapped somehow and then untap them all to win the game, we're there. To help with the whole creature side of things, Icon of Ancestry. Choose Soldier. Pump them all up by +1/+1. Pay 3, look at the top 3 cards of your library, reveal a creature card of the chosen type from among them, put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom. Thank you very much. Likewise, Door of Destinies is in. Comes into play, choose a creature type, Soldier. Play a spell of the type, draw a card, Soldier. Creatures you control of that type get a +1/+1 for each charge counter on it. Thank you very much. We get the... there's no card draw on this one, I misread it. So whenever you play a spell of that type, put a charge counter on Door of Destinies, and you'll start pumping up your soldiers quite rapidly. Likewise, Chroma's Memorial. We are back in Dominaria. I figured it was worth playing this. You know, flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black and red. Thank you very much. 7 mana, expensive, but it's kind of where the deck tops out of this, apart from one enchantment that's coming up. I've chucked in Legion's Landing. I don't think it's going to show up on here because I've done it, but if you can't remember what Legion's Landing does, open image in new tab. Let's have a look, see if we can get it there. Here you go. 1/1 Vampire Spirit, transform it. It flips into a land that taps for white, and it also produces vampire tokens for 3. So I've decided to include it just for the laugh factor. Birth of Meletus is here purely to give us the land search. It's hard to ramp. It does count as like one of our ramp spells to a certain extent. The token's okay. The gaining 2 life's okay, but really it's 2 mana Finder Plains. Put it in your hand and play it. One of the new cards included is next. It's in the Trenches. 3 mana. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Thank you very much. And then you can pay 6 and exile target non-land permanent you don't control until In the Trenches leaves play. And you can only activate it once and only as a sorcery. But if you've got a Planeswalker that's about to ultimate on your opponent's next turn, it's worth using it to get rid of that. Or something else that's annoying you entirely. Likewise, Tosca's Welcome's in, another enchantment from the new set. Whenever one or more creatures with mana value 3 or less enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability only triggers once a turn. Now, if you've got Prav in play and you've got the mana to do it, you can make a soldier token creature on an opponent's turn and draw a card with this. Yeah, bear that in mind when you're looking at some of the little tricks that are coming up. I've also chucked in Legion's Loyalty. This is the most mana expensive card in the deck, but I figured creatures with Myriad would be quite fun, and hopefully it won't crash MTGO when I play this, but hey, I've chucked it in. As for the lands, I have gone a little bit over the top. We've got Arid Mesa in to go and find a lot of plains. I've included all of the lands from Streets of New Capenna. Let's go and search out plains. Castle Ardenvale's in because it just creates tokens, so it helps us draw stuff we need to. Drifting Meadow to cycle. Ijano's Castle just to prevent some damage. We have got a few planeswalk legendary creatures in here so we can prevent that. Emeria is key though, that's why we've got 19 planes in the deck. Emeria goes, yep, there's 7 planes in play. Let me start returning these creatures from the graveyard to play. Hopefully it doesn't get destroyed. Fabled Passage Marsh Flats do the same as Arid Mesa. Idyllic Range enters the battlefield, and when Idyllic Grange enters the battlefield untapped. You get to put a +1/+1 counter around. It shouldn't be that hard to hold this back until you get there. And it also counts as a plains, which is quite nicely from Emeria, so bear that in mind. Because of all the mana we've got in the deck, I have included Nykthos. I don't tend to use Nykthos unless I'm playing a mono deck. This is a mono deck, hence why it's here. And I figure we'll be able to get some mana and get some of our stuff out really quickly with it. 19 planes, as I said. Reliquary Tower in case we do get given cards by our opponents. That's quite nice. Sandstone Bridge, just to +1/+1 and Vigilance a creature for a turn it comes in. Secluded Steps, cycling for a little bit more drawing. Temple of the False God, so we've got the mana ramp from here as well. Unclaimed Territory, might as well, name it as Soldier and have it in play anyway. And you get to have that nice little bit of colour. And obviously Windbrisk Heights is in the deck as well, just so we can go, let's see if we can hide away some of this stuff and see what we get out of it. And that's it. That's my little take on Myrel. I hope you enjoyed this little short deck tech that I've been talking for about, 16 minutes now. But, let me know. Give me a follow if you're not following me on YouTube already. Leave me a comment. I do try and respond to all the comments. Also, in the description down below, you'll find all my links to my Twitch page. Come and have a chat with me there. Come and play me on Twitch when I'm up and running. So, that's it for now. Thanks for watching the video, and hopefully you'll enjoy it, and you'll let me know what you think. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you all on stream soon. Cheers. Out.